This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, December 7th, 2005, and this is episode number 33 for Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. Our panel today is just little old Mike Scopa, who's a columnist at MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
I would have a witty opening, Matt, but I have Mousefest hangover, so I have nothing to open up with right now. So, hello, Matt.
Mousefest hangover.
Mousefest hangover.
Well, today's Wednesday. It's our Wednesday shows, and if you'd like to send your questions, be sure to email us at questions@wdwtoday.com, or you could use the little link on our front page at wdwtoday.com if you don't have access to your email. So let's jump right into our questions, Mike. And our first question comes from Roger of Sebago Lake, Maine. Probably not pronounced that way, but he's from Maine. And he writes, "Guys, love the podcast. Great job. We're heading to Walt Disney World in January, arriving on the 7th. I'm getting mixed information on what will still be running for the holidays when we arrive. Can you please clarify if any or all of the following, which will be available on January 8th? The Jingle Jungle Parade at Animal Kingdom, Osborne Lights at MGM, and Epcot's Holidays Around the World."
That's a good question. I don't know if any of those will be operating at that time. I do believe that...
The Osborne Lights will be running. Their last day is January 8th, so they will be up. That I know, but that's just my own little thing. I would think, Mike, wouldn't you think that they would all probably enter on the same day?
I think so, man. I think that... Well, did the Osborne Lights, I believe, started... Let's see.
They started on the 14th, November.
On the 14th. I believe this week I was talking with Mark Goldhaber, and Mark said that the reason why a lot of the holiday and festive things started early was as a request. A lot of the guests were writing in and they were asking that they begin like holidays around the world, the Osborne Lights, earlier in the season rather than wait towards the very, very end of November. Now, I don't know if that means that the resort will, in fact, end them earlier. I'm looking up right now my notes that I had on this because I did have some information on this, and I might be able to give Roger the definitive answer. Osborne Lights will be on until January 8th. Holidays Around the World will end on December 30th. And what was the other one, Matt?
The Jingle Jungle Parade at Animal Kingdom.
Jingle Jungle Parade. Let's see. I don't have any information on that. I have to guess that... I don't want to take a guess. I just don't have any information on it, so I can't answer. I
can't tell Roger, though, that also the holiday overlay parade they have at MGM will also end on the 8th, along with the Osborne Lights, if he's interested in seeing that one as well. Our next question comes from Donald Trippy of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he wants to know, instead of going to the parks, I'm thinking about taking the family to play mini golf. Any thoughts on Fantasia Gardens versus Winter Summerland for an amateur duffer like me?
I have only done Fantasia, so I haven't done Winter Summerland. Have you done the Winter Summerland?
I've heard many good things about Winter Summerland over Fantasia Gardens. I think it really just comes down to theme more than anything. I think the Winter Summerland has a little bit better theme in that it's a little more fun than Fantasia Gardens seems to be just kind of a Disney type generic theme, whereas Winter Summerland kind of is a little more, I don't know. I think you really can't go wrong with either of them. And if I were you, I would just drive by. I mean, if you have a rental car, drive by both of them because they're both easily viewable from the road. And if you don't have a rental car, I'm sure you'll pass each of them about 30 times on your way from your resort to the parks. So you'll have an ample chance to take a look at them. And I'm sure, you really can't go wrong with either of them.
Well, I think that let's remind him of one more thing, and that is that if your family is really into a Disney-themed miniature golf setting, then you definitely want to go to Fantasia Gardens.
That's true. That's a good point. So if you're
right.
if you're all about pixie dust and classic Disney, go for that. If it's not as important to you, then you could opt for Winter Summerland. Like I said, you'll take a look at them, see which one floats your boat.
Right.
Our next question is from GM, and he asks, in April through May of 2006. Myself and my new wife will be at Walt Disney World on the 4-day land and 3-day cruise for our honeymoon. We'll be staying at the Caribbean Beach Resort and Boardwalk Resort. Do you have any suggestions for us? Special dining, events, packages, or tours? We both went on the behind-the-scenes tour last year and loved it. Thanks for your suggestions. Any suggestions on the behind-the-scenes tours, Mike? Is that the one that goes to all the resorts that's like 7 hours long?
Boy, where is Len when you need him?
Yeah.
Let's see. There are several tours. Trying to think which one. They're constantly changing them. Trying to think which tours would be. There's isn't there one called Behind the Seed?
Yeah, behind the Seed tour at Epcot.
That's Epcot. That's in the land, I believe.
Yeah, Len mentioned on an earlier podcast that he likes that one. It only costs I want to say it's about $10. It's really cheap, and it's not very long at all. And well, compared to the behind the scenes tour, I'm sure any tour is going to seem not that long to you. I would recommend the Behind the Seeds tour, and also the one that goes at Animal Kingdom, the one where you have to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. And you get to go kind of like do that whole Jurassic Park thing where you show up and like they show you all the animals. It's kind of like the safari, but makes the attraction safari look like Dumbo. So.
Was he talking about the tour in the Magic Kingdom where you go down to the utilidors? Is that the 4-hour one?
I think that's the 4-hour one. I think he's talking about. I believe I could be wrong. That the behind the scenes tour that he took is the one that goes to 3 parks and requires an all-day commitment to it.
Oh, yeah, that can be a time sink.
Yeah. As for other things, he also mentions that it's not just scenes tours that he's interested in. He's also interested in special dining events or packages. And if he's going in April through May, isn't that when Flower and Garden is going on? At Epcot?
Yeah, right. Usually in probably right around the beginning of April, you'll see the International Flower and Garden Festival. I'm thinking that you said in the Animal Kingdom there's a backstage safari. Isn't there another one called Wild by Design?
I believe so. I believe there are 2. There's 2 or 3. I remember looking. Where's my annual pass? Because it says it has a listing of them.
Backstage Safari that's a 3-hour. It's a 3-hour tour, and I know that's like $65 a person.
Yes, there's quite a number. If you're into trains, there's the Magic Behind the Steam Train ones. I've never done that one, but I guess you have to be I would think you would have to be somewhat interested in trains. You and of course your wife, which is what a lot of people forget. That's of course at the Magic Kingdom. Epcot has a number of them, especially if you're a scuba diver. They have the Dive Quest, and that could be really a lot of fun. Of course, you have to be scuba certified.
A lot of people don't know that there's a Segway tour.
Yes,
it's called Simply Segway. That's $45 a person.
Yep.
They teach you how to operate a Segway, which is a human transporter, and you get to train, and then you get to go around World Showcase with the Segway. And I believe that people are given that tour real early in the morning before the World Showcase section of the park opens up.
It's probably because most of the guests are new to Segways and will run into half the guests if they were there.
Yeah. There's a new one in the Magic Kingdom. I think it started, was it late last year? It's called Mickey's Magical Milestones. Have you heard about that one?
I read about it, yes.
It's 2 hours. I think it's about $25 a person. And trying to think what that's involved. I believe it concentrates on the attractions and special locations within the Magic Kingdom theme park that are devoted to Mickey Mouse's career. So if you're a real Mickey Mouse fan, that's the tour to try. I believe it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I believe it's, like I said, $25 a person. But that's something that a lot of people don't know. It's a nice little tour. It doesn't take too much of your time, and it's kind of fun. So that's another one.
Okay. Well, our next question comes from Karen, and she wants to know, where's the best place to get discounted park tickets? She's interested in a 5-day park hopper. In your first podcast, you mentioned that AAA gives a 10% discount to members. Is that the only package, or can you get a discount on tickets as well from other places?
Well, that's a good question.
If my experience, I've bought tickets from a place called CentralFloridaTickets.com in the past. They tend to offer some good discounts, and they offer some of the older park hopper tickets still. I think they still have some of those available. The ones before Magic Your Way, which means that they have built-in park hopping ability without the extra money. And of course, they're going to be cheaper because those tickets are from already almost 2 years ago now at this point. So you can pick up some of those. You can also get them from there's Maple Leaf tickets, and Disney offers some basic discounts. I mean, all of these you're not going to be really saving all that much money. What is it? I mean, at most you'll be saving $5 to $10, I think, if you opt for some of the longer day tickets.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you waste so much time and energy in looking for the discount tickets that you're better off just going the route of either AAA or actually just buying your tickets at the Disney store near your home, because what you want to do is you want to purchase your tickets before you get down there. Because once you get down there, you're paying, quote, through the nose.
Yep.
Because you're not saving. They are rewarding you for you giving them your money, as early as possible. So I really don't know if it's really worth searching around for discount tickets. I would suggest going to mousesavers.com and see if Mary has anything on her site. Mary Waring has anything on her site as to discounted tickets.
Well, our next question comes from David. Oh, I'm going to screw this one up. Simo. Well, it's from David. And he writes, what advice can you offer to a young couple visiting Walt Disney World as opposed to the traditional family of 4? What attractions, parks do you feel would be more suitable for a young couple? And which one should we pass on specifically? Our trip is planned for early March, and we're interested in staying in a moderate hotel, mainly because we cannot afford the higher prices of the deluxe ones. Which moderate hotel do you think would best for a romantic setting in Disney for a week's time? And if you have any specific recommendations. So, lovers in love, where do they stay and what do they do?
Well, that's an easy question. Thank you, David, for sending this question. I love it when I have a question that I can just talk for hours and hours on. I would strongly suggest that if you want to go to a moderate hotel, that you focus on Port Orleans French Quarter. I believe that would have the most romantic setting. I love walking along. Is it Sassagusa River? I think that's the name of the river. It's just a very nice setting. The resort is very well themed, very romantic. That would be the spot that I would go. And that's the spot that I go if I want to have a nice romantic vacation with my wife. As far as the theme parks, let's see. Attractions for a young couple. Well, it depends upon what you like. If you like thrill rides or if you don't like thrill rides, it's really tough to say. Obviously, the Haunted Mansion is a very romantic ride because you're in a dune buggy and it's in the dark and you can huddle up and look at that ghost, look at that ghost. That's very nice. Peter Pan's Flight also is something that I would recommend. When you get into in Epcot, Spaceship Earth, you could just sit back and relax as you're going through Spaceship Earth. I'm not sure I would say Test Track would be the ideal attraction for a young couple. Let's see, what else would be?
I would add the El Rio del Tiempo at Mexico Pavilion at Epcot, partially because you're guaranteed pretty much your own little boat over there because no one ever rides it.
Yeah,
and I call it the Tunnel of Love, because if you ever want an opportunity just to be pretty much alone with whoever, I mean it's pretty good as long as you don't mind all the Disney cameras watching you, of course.
I got a funny story, Matt. But, oh no, I'll tell you another time. Anyways, let's go on to the MGM. Let's see. In MGM, boy, I would say going to see Voyage of the Little Mermaid. That
Beauty
would
and
be
the
nice.
Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Oh, Belle. That would be something. But I think that the Voyage of the Little Mermaid would be nice, as well as let's see, what else? Can't say the Great Movie Ride. It's really tough.
Yeah, it's not too many romantic attractions.
Yeah.
Also, anything as a tip from one guy to another guy, find out what characters she likes, what movies she likes, and go to the attractions based on that, and she will love it. Oh, PhilharMagic. I just thought about it.
PhilharMagic would be good. It's important to also, as Matt just said, to understand what characters she likes and think about scheduling your meals in that mode. If she really loves Pooh, then you want to go to Crystal Palace. If she's really into Mickey, then you may want to think about Chef Mickey's. It's really important to know what you enjoy before you head, into the theme park, so you can put together a plan. But it's really, if you enjoy each other's company, then most of the attractions should be fine.
Hey, Mike, quickly, David wanted to also mention when you recommended Port Orleans, do you have a recommendation for a building in French Quarter?
I particularly like Building 5 because it's right on the corner of like the central area. Building 5 is close to the food court, it's close to the laundry, it's close to the main pool, and it's very close to the spa. And if you're like me and you're training for a half marathon, that comes in real handy at the end of a long run. So I like Building 5 in Port Orleans, French Quarter.
Well, speaking of running, Mike, I've got another exercise question for you. Mike Grabenstein wants to know if there are any cycling events, road or mountain bike, that Disney organizes, and any tips on where to cycle if staying on property. He's also very interested in the DVC resort, so if you have any information about that.
Oh, I don't know of any cycling events. I do know that they do rollerblading in April. I think there's a rollerblading race every April. I don't know of any bicycling. I don't know of any sites, any places on the property where I've seen people bike. The best thing I can say is if you want to train, if you're into cycling and you need to keep your training, then you need to make sure that you stay at a resort that has a very good gym. One in particular, if you're talking moderate, is Coronado Springs has a very, very, very good health club there, and I would recommend staying there if you're really in need of keeping your bicycling conditioning up. It's a very, very good place. But other than that, I don't know of any place on the property where you can bicycle.
Yeah. Oh, I would think, although Boardwalk might be a good one, because then you can just bike around the boardwalk, since you can already rent those little bikes, and then you can go all around the little lagoon over there. You got the loop built in, at least.
See, I don't know what he's talking. Is he talking about like Lance? What's his name there?
Lance Armstrong.
Or is he talking, Surrey bikes? What is he talking?
He said road or mountain bike, so I don't know.
Yeah, road or mountain bikes to me sounds like sweat and tears and water bottles and all and headgear and all that stuff. I
don't know. Well, Mike, if you figure out Mike Grabenstein, not Mike Scopo, of course. If you figure out something, let us know of what works for you. And Jay from Saco, Maine writes more of a comment than a question, but he writes, wouldn't you think that Disney resorts would offer free internet access to its vacationers? Most hotels nowadays offer free internet. What are your thoughts about that, Mike?
My thoughts is that Disney has been paying a lot of attention to why guests are not staying at their resorts. Sometimes it takes a long time to convince someone what they need to offer for their guests, and we are seeing slowly on Disney property some aspects of that. I don't know if the high-speed internet access being thrown into the price of the room is ever going to come about. I think the reason why it is not included right now is that they really like the idea of the guest being able to customize his or her vacation, and that is why the introduction of Magic Your Way tickets was brought in this year. They want the guests to have the feeling that they are empowered as to the customization of their vacation. And I believe if you are in a room and you are being charged for high-speed internet access when you're not going to use it, then it really doesn't come across right. You may have families that don't really particularly care about plugging in their laptop. You may have elderly people who are there just to have some fun, and they don't even know what the internet is all about. So why charge them something that they don't need? So Disney is taking the stance that they want the guests to have power as to how they should customize their own stay. So that is why it's not included in the price, and I believe that's going to be that way for a long time.
Yeah, I would also think, I'll add to that, I think that Disney hotels are kind of based around the fact that you're going to be going to the parks and doing lots of stuff on Walt Disney World property, whereas the hotels that Jay is talking about are, hotels in cities where you may spend quite a bit of time in your hotel room doing business or, what have you. So I think that the purposes of the hotels are a little bit different, and such the amenities are like that.
Yeah, and what is it, $10 a night?
Yeah, it's $10 for a 24-hour period. So
yeah.
I mean, it's not going to break the bank, certainly. And in the world of Disney, that's pretty cheap. And for our last question, we have Len Testa, who's decided to join us. Better late than never, right, Len?
It's the Raglan Road hangover from Saturday night, and it's Tuesday, so
Well, our last question comes from Gary Hasty, and he says, on the path behind Test Track that takes you over to World Showcase, there's a building over there, and was that building ever used for anything? It looks like an old restaurant or banquet hall.
Oh, the Odyssey restaurant?
Yep.
Yeah, it used to be, a long time ago, it used to be a restaurant. And I forget what kind of food it served. I can go back and look at the guide.
It was counter service, Lynn, I think.
It was counter service, I agree. And I actually ate there one time, but it wasn't very popular, and I couldn't figure out why. But it's been closed these many years. It's got to be closed for a decade. The only thing it's used for now is training events for Epcot cast members, and you'll see it used during special events like Food and Wine, for example, where I think in the 2004 Food and Wine, Paula Deen did some exhibition cooking there. So it's used for some special events, but it's not used regularly for restaurants anymore.
Didn't they also use that for special Mother's Day or Easter Sunday meal called something like Eating Among the Flowers or something like that one time, where it was a real expensive buffet?
Tripping Among the Daisies? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, okay, so it's used for special event dining too. I don't know how much equipment's in there or what they bring in, but and basically there are no plans to bring it back. I don't see why you would need a counter service restaurant right there, though. It's not. I mean, you've got 20 steps to get to better dining in World Showcase.
I think the problem was, Lynn, the problem might have been that there was no way of getting a real good theme in that restaurant. There was nothing to hang your hat on as far as a theme, because you're right on the edge of World Showcase, and at one point...
Yeah, I mean, we're going to put Mexican food in there? I mean, it's just not going to... It's tortillas.
I often thought that would have been a great place to put a sample buffet, a sample World Showcase buffet restaurant, or a restaurant that would offer the best of all the World Showcase restaurants. That is, International Gateway Restaurant, where you'd have, okay, s'mores beer. You could say, okay.
No, that's a smart idea. I was saying smart. That's a great idea.
Offer the strip steak from Le Cellier at that place. Offer
the Mike Scopa 20-ounce special.
Yeah, exactly. Or offer the whatever from Chefs de France. Offer the bangers and mash or the fish and chips from Rose and Crown, because if you can't, think of it this way, if you cannot get an ADR for your favorite restaurant that has the New York strip, that has the bangers and mash or the fish and chips,
yeah, just go there. I wonder how they'd be able to keep the food fresh. That might be tricky, but yeah, I love the idea. I mean, I think the concept of the Odyssey restaurant, of course, it's a reference to Homer in the Iliad and the Odyssey with the travels of Odysseus, but.
Yeah, but the food didn't make.
Yeah, they could have gone Mediterranean or Greek with it too, and that would have kept with the theme. Speaking of Le Cellier, did I tell you about my experience there Friday night with Bob? I know we've completely lost track of the question, and that's all right. We'll just ramble for a little bit.
Okay.
So I talk up Le Cellier to Bob every year. I'm like, I lobbied for it to get an additional half a star this year in the guide, which I don't know if I got it or not. I was just lobbying for it, and so Bob's like, okay, let's go. We'll go and we'll try it. So we get there. It's like 9:20. Friday or Thursday night, and Thursday night, and it's just packed. I mean, I go at 7. I'm like, look, can you fit 2 people in anywhere? And they said no. And I went back at 8. They said no. So finally, we get there at 9:20, and Bob orders the prime rib. And when Bob orders meat, he could actually eat a cow live. I think he likes his steak so rare. I mean, stuff that a skilled veterinarian could probably still save. Bob would eat that. Bob would eat that. You pass it lightly once over the grill on either side, and that's done for Bob. So he orders it as rare can be, and I order the chicken. And And
you ordered the chicken.
I know, really.
Why did you order the chicken?
I've never had the chicken. I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
My God.
No.
It's heresy from Mike right there.
No, go. I know, the Mike Scopa 20-ounce special, which is not even on the menu, but you can ask for. Anyway, so we order some wine with dinner, and first they're bringing back the wrong bottle of wine.
Chicken.
And the girl the waitress was very nice about it, and it helped that she was cute and from Quebec and had that charming accent, so that, that'll mitigate a lot. But, and then his steak comes and it's done medium, and it might as well be charcoal. They might as well be serving him briquettes. Because Bob's like,
give him a hockey puck.
Again, he's like, okay, when it comes out of the oven, but before you guys put it like on the finishing table, what does it look like? And the girl goes, oh, it's very, 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 very pink, almost red. He said, I'll take that. So he said, don't do any further preparation. Take it out of the oven just like that. Cut a hunk off and give it to me. So they did. And he came back and it was fine. And did we order desserts? I don't think we ordered desserts.
Did you have the soup, Len?
I had the cheddar cheese soup, and it was great. Mine was fine. It was just Bob, they screwed up his wine, they screwed up his steak.
Oh, well, so much for that star.
Really, Bob, it's a great restaurant, but, the one time where the food doesn't come out just right, it had to be the time that Bob was there, so... Yeah. A shame. So, it'll be back down to 1.5 stars in the next day. No, I'm just kidding.
1.5 stars.
No, I'm just kidding. It won't be. It's not going to affect the rating at all, I'm sure.
What?
First of all, I mean, neither Bob or I actually do the restaurant reviews. We have professionals that do that. We were just there for fun, but still, it was just like, I talked this place up for like 4 years in a row, and, the reader responses are so positive. We go there and it blows. It's like, really, Mike Scopa loves this place. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but
Yeah, right. Did Bob? Let's might as well prolong the show a little bit longer. I know Bob went to Lights Motors Action. What did he think of that?
He liked it, actually. He thought it was. He said it would stunt work was fine. Some of the stunts were repetitious. The spinning around in circles gets old after a while. He said he probably would have given it 4 stars, and I think when I did the review, I wrote the review position to God. Oops. And I gave it 3.5, and he said that's good enough. So.
And Bob, of course, is Bob Sellinger, the author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, as well as a number of other unofficial guides to various topics. In case no one has any idea who Bob is.
Yeah, Bob Sellinger. Sorry. So then we go to. So if you want to continue this, I can talk about Raglan Road for a minute.
Sure, why not?
Hey, Len, how was Raglan Road, Len?
It was probably the best time I've ever had in Pleasure Island. Man, it was great. I mean, I'm not one for bars or even pub food, but man, this place just rocked. They got a live band playing Irish music. I mean, we had. I don't know if we got a great table. I don't know if it was because Sue Pizzaturo was with us and they know who is, because the manager came over to greet her. So apparently Sue carries more clout than I do, and Bob was there too. So we got a great table. The food was very good. I had fish and chips. The shepherd's pie was good. They actually have an entree of bacon, which to me is proof that Western civilization continues to advance. It's just, I mean, what culture?
So you picked out on the bacon?
It was wonderful, smooth, and then we had some bass.
What the hell did you eat? You eat the whole restaurant of fish and chips,
and it was all
shepherd's
raw,
pie, the bacon.
No, it was all great. It was fish and chips, shepherd's pie. Oh, and then they had this appetizer of battered sausages fried. So it's like sausages in like a tempura batter, but not really tempura, obviously, and deep fried on a fork. Who thinks of deep frying sausage? That's just brilliance. So we ate those, and we had there was crab cakes we had, and then they have this banana cheesecake for dessert, which was just phenomenal. Had some coffee with it. The coffee was great. And, I mean, the music was good. There were girls dancing on the bars. It was...
You guys must have been like beached whales after this thing, just making noises.
You mean you went to Raglan Road instead of going to see me at Kimonos?
I had every intention of leaving Raglan Road at 9:30, but it was so much fun. It was like 12:30. I'm telling you, it's easily the best place in Pleasure Island. It was just the best time. I could see myself going back there 3 or 4 times on my next trip. It was great. It was so good I stole the menus. I have one of each. It was if I could have gotten the waitresses to autograph the menus, and then stolen them, I would have done that. It was a great time. The place is huge too. They've got a fire. I think there was a fireplace. I was drinking a little bit. There might not be a fireplace at all. But there was the live band was playing great up-tempo music. They've got a really good seating area. Say what?
Where exactly in Pleasure Island is it located?
It's if you're walking from downtown Disney, you cross over the bridge, you bear a little bit to your left, and it's right there around the corner. It's the first. I think on the Pleasure Island entrance, it's the first nightclub on the right. It's huge.
Yeah, it's very hard to miss.
Oh, but it was great. I mean, easily again the best place in Pleasure Island.
Well, believe it or not, that's the end of our listener show. That's right, there were listener questions before. This has been a very, very, very long episode of episode number 33 for Walt Disney World Today. Be sure to visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com for the show notes. And if you want to send in your questions, please email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. Our new shows come out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.